True peace lies within. We might seek out people or places or situations to find peace, but actually peace is something that we can cultivate within us. It doesn't need to be something that we seek outside of ourselves. In fact, in this day and age, it's very difficult to seek out peace because we seem to be surrounded by chaos all around us. If we turn on the television, there's violence and there's bad news. If we go out to the supermarket, it's stressful, there's pressure, there's time pressure, there's a lot of people mulling around. It is actually quite stressful. If we get in the car and drive, we confront traffic jams, sometimes rude drivers, and unless we intentionally go out and drive in a peaceful place, it seems that there is a lot of stress. So how can we cultivate a life of peace? It is about observing situations and about making a choice to find peace rather than being swayed by our circumstances or influenced by anything outside of ourselves. So it's not about living a life without any problems, but I'm talking about living your life, living a normal life, but choosing to operate from a place of peace. So we can start to do this by observing our environment and observing our interactions with people and observing what it is that takes peace away from us. So for example, if you find that every time you're at the supermarket and you're in a queue, you feel very irritated and frustrated and you want to rush. Yes, it's external circumstances which have triggered that feeling in you, but actually those feelings come within, and that is something that you can work on and work with. You can't do anything about the external factors necessarily, but you can change how you're feeling inside. So that irritation I would almost see as an energy within the body, which is brought out by the event of being in a queue. But if you can allow the feeling just to be, so rather than kind of reacting to that, maybe rushing off and trying to find a different queue or getting annoyed, if you could just sit with that feeling and notice how you're feeling inside, and rather than thinking about what you could do to react to that situation, just allowing it to be, allowing whatever you're feeling to flow through your body, and just wait patiently and observe and see what happens. Because the likelihood is that by getting irritated and rushing around, you probably won't save yourself any time, and you're definitely not going to save your nerves. So if rather than reacting straight away to things, you can cultivate inner peace by observing and allowing and letting things be exactly as they are. Another good way to cultivate inner peace is to notice if certain people trigger certain responses in you. And this can become almost like a game. If there's somebody close to you and you seem to be getting into the same types of argument all the time or the same types of discussion, observe that and notice, is it at a certain time of day that you get into these disagreements? Is it a certain time in the week? What's going on at those points? What is it that is causing these similar arguments over and over again? And when you observe that, you might start to notice that there is a certain trigger. It's almost like there's a button. One person has the button and the other person presses it. And this kind of starts a game. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but if you are in that situation where you find somebody irritating or you feel you're triggered by somebody, it's really interesting to observe and see exactly what it is that starts off that process and whether it's something that you can actually change. So if you find that somebody is always pressing your buttons, for example, can you then observe the person press your button and not react in the same way? It's difficult, and it might be that you do this a few times and you do react in the same way, but you've noticed, this is that same little game that we keep playing over and over again. And then eventually you'll be able to not react and just to observe. And it's likely that the other person will be confused and wonder what's going on, and they might kind of try it again just to see what's happened. Because this is unconscious, of course, it's not something usually that's in the conscious awareness, although it could be. So it's like there's a unconscious game going on where one person presses a button and the other person reacts, and it just sets off the same dynamics every time. But when you have that in your conscious awareness, you can work with it and stop it from happening. And when we learn to work with these unconscious reactions and bring them into awareness, first of all, it raises our consciousness. Secondly, it enables us to be more present. And thirdly, it helps us cultivate inner peace. And when we have inner peace, the power of that is that we can have complete clarity, and it enables us to make empowered choices because we see situations exactly as they are, and then we can make a choice from that place of clarity and that still point that we create when we find inner peace. Inner peace also helps us clarify our own values. So when we're not swayed by outside influences and we're not going along with the crowd, we're in a better place to evaluate what's important to us, and that may be very different from what the majority of people are doing. It can be a long road, but it's one that's well worth doing, I believe, because it enables us to accept our situations, to make empowered choices, to observe things exactly how they are, not to be reactive, to be more compassionate, to have more empathy, to help other people to find more peace in their lives. And we can embrace our imperfections and setbacks in life without feeling frustrated or like we need to change things. So it builds resilience and enables us to start over and over again, even when things haven't been going our way. So if this resonates with you and you would like to cultivate inner peace, please subscribe and watch some of my other videos. I talk about these kinds of things a lot, and it would be really good to have you join the community.